Welcome back to Ringworm, land of the flies right now. There were no bugs for weeks, and now it's like an infestation of flies. Are making me a little batty. For anybody that's new, just to recap, I don't know what month it is, October? Yeah, I think it's October. A year ago, February, I bought this piece of property in the middle of nowhere, Michigan, and grabbed a tent and some tools and came out here just to see how long it would be fun. It's not ceased being fun yet, so I'm still here. This property has no roads, no electricity, it's literally just forest. And for a year and a half I've just been entertaining myself by building stuff with a chainsaw and a chainsaw mill, making lumber and putting up weird things that I think would be interesting or a kick to try to nail together. And doing this kind of thing takes, this is camping. For the most part. It's getting a little weird. Maybe it's not camping anymore. But camping like this really doesn't take that much power, that much energy. So being off, it's so far off grid, it's not even, I don't even know you could call this off grid. This is my grid. And the only reason I need this is because at the last minute, just before I moved out here, I decided to get a little GoPro and just make some videos. I've been taking photos and making videos for most of my adult life just for fun. And this time I decided to put it on YouTube, and it takes a lot of power to make videos. My computer is incredibly power hungry. I edit all the videos pretty much in my tent. I have a couple other buildings I've put up that I'm just starting to use, or in different seasons I might sit in different places to do some editing. But this is the source of power. I do have a small generator. I use that to charge this. This, when it's brand new, runs my battery, or runs my computer for maybe 4 to 5 hours. I just had to change it out after a year because it was down to about 1 hour, so got to be a little bit of a pain in the ass. I'll show you how this is hooked together. It's pretty straightforward. Most of you know what an inverter is. Just a little box, plugs onto here, changes 12 volts into 120. There's a couple of regular wall plugs in there. So I got in touch with Jackery and I made a deal to solar power Ringworm. I'm not really interested in collecting a bunch of gear and doing a bunch of reviews and stuff like that, but their units are sweet. Instead of charging like little tiny battery packs and drone batteries and stuff in my car when I leave here, that I don't leave here that often, but when I do, I plug everything into my car, charge those when I bring them back. Then I can use that to charge my phone, charge the GoPro. I won't have to do any of that anymore. These are like all-in-one units. They got like 3 or 4 regular wall plugs, like 120 wall plugs, cigarette lighter, USBs, everything, and they're powered by solar, which is really sweet. So let me show you what they sent me to try out. 2 solar setups, because each season I like to sit 2 different places to edit. In the summer, I just built the gazebo. I can sit in there on the hottest days, and then if it's raining or cold, I sit in my tent. In the winter, I can't do very much editing because batteries don't like 10-degree nights. But on either side of the dead of winter, I can sit in the deer castle, which a lot of you guys know, and I could edit in there. So 2 setups, 2 sets of solar panels, and now I just have to figure out how to use them. This stuff is very straightforward, but how I'm going to set it up is going to be the trick. These are super slick, and they are meant to be portable. The idea is you're going to go boondocking, you're going to go off-roading, and you're going to camp way out in the middle of nowhere for a night or 2, and you got stuff you want to charge up. Pull this sucker out, unfold the panels to recharge them when you need to, and you're good to go. But I am going to try to use these for living. This would be my only source of power, which until now has been occasionally running a generator to charge my computer, charge that battery, charge some power tools. But I'm going to try to figure out a way to set these up that'll allow me to do all those things without constantly running a generator, using gasoline and hauling 80-pound batteries around in the woods. So let me show you what came with each of these. So I got 2 different sets of solar panels. These are 100-watt panels that will more than likely go with the smaller unit, the 1500. Pretty slick, easy to use, got feet. Stand them up at an angle. Cord's always attached in here. Got a second set of panels, twice that size. These are 200-watt panels, and holy cow, are these so much cooler than the panels I've used before, the old hard panels. Crazy materials. I just can't believe how much this has changed in like the last 10 years. So here's the challenge. Using only a chainsaw and a chainsaw mill and some battery operated tools. How can I set these up in the forest in almost a full canopy and use these units year round, hopefully year round, to keep my battery powered tools and my computer going so I can make videos that you guys can watch. This area right here by my tent gets the most sun of anything here, and you're looking at it right now. This patch, there's a little hole in the canopy from the trees I took down in order to put this in, my deck for my tent. So I've looked at putting these panels, I say I've looked at it. I thought about it for about maybe 6 or 7 seconds. Putting these panels on the roof of, one set on the roof of the gazebo, where I can sit and edit in the summer, one set on the deer castle. The one trouble I've come across here is that these panels are, this is not a permanent setup. This is not meant to go on top of your house and you leave it there year round. They're, as I understand, water resistant, but not waterproof. In other words, you're not going to set this up, leave all the wires hanging, and completely forget about it, go about your business. So I've got some cedar logs here. I think I'm gonna have to get the chainsaw mill out. I think I'm gonna make some kind of a frame. I'm thinking I'll use the cedar because it's lightweight. I'm thinking maybe mill some 1.5-inch boards, do some kind of a frame. Then of course I've got one of my favorite things in the world, my roll of Cajun pole line here. And I'm thinking I might, just like I did with that queen size bed that I have hanging out in the out in the forest here, I webbed it all back and forth, did like a crosshatch pattern with that stuff. I'm thinking I might do a very similar thing with this, and then the panels can lay on it. I'll have to figure out some way to easily put them on there. Like if I'm going to get a sunny day or 2 or 3, I want to charge this stuff up, lay them on there, attach them somehow, run the cords. Gosh, I'm saying this like I've thought of it. Let's start milling. Let's just get milling and see what happens. Let's see what we got here. Got just short of 8 feet, so I'm going to need some 8-foot boards plus a little bit. And then I'm going to do 4 panels side by side. That's 20, that's a little over 21, so say 2 feet. So I need 8 by 8, so I'm going to need some 8.5-foot logs. But I might as well dig through the pile first and not mill up stuff I don't need to. I think, let's see. I'm gonna make the outside of this thing in cedar because it might see a bit of rain. 8 feet exactly. There's one side. I guess we got some pine. Probably gonna have to do like a square with an X in it. I guess I could do the X out of, here's a piece of pine, 1.5 inches. I don't know why it looks like the end was burned. Both ends. I hope this doesn't get heavier than I want it to be. I don't know, I don't think 1-inch boards are going to be enough to not sag a whole bunch. There's one side. That'd be the middle brace. Rip this down the middle. That'd be that one. That one. So we need 1, 2, 3 8-footer, 1.5-inch boards. Let's see what we got here. A little over 8 feet. I'm gonna get 3 out of it. What's that? 4.5 plus. Be really close. I think we can get 3 out of that. Ooh, this one's been sitting for a while. Holy cow. Wow, hope this isn't too buggy, I don't know. I don't know when or where I cut this thing. Just getting ready to mill, and I'm totally surrounded by shrooms. Everywhere I look, I go, oh, there are a couple, and then I turn around, oh, there are 40 more. Oh, there's 100 more. Look at all these things. This weird shelfy looking fungus. These weird snot blisters. Somebody know what those are? There's 3 different kinds just on the log pile there. Oh, more weird crap growing in there, different kind. Then you hop over to here. Look at all these. And if they're edible, don't worry, I'm not going to just start chomping down on them, but I am curious. Well, wood still looks good. Just the bark was a little rotty. So I can maybe get 3 boards out of it. I don't want to mill another log just for 1 board. Since party week just ended and nobody's on the schedule to come here and have a bunch of campfires, I just decided to light this thing up since I'm going to be right here working for the next little bit. This whole pile of cedar bark all needs to be burned up. Burns great once you get it dried out, which of course in a pile like that it doesn't dry out very well, but I just chuck all my building scraps over here by this fire pit and hopes that somebody will show up soon enough to help me burn it all. Hope it gets even lighter, because I don't know where I'm going to put this frame yet. I got a few different ideas. We'll have to see what works the best. So have to rip the edges off all those, make boards out of them, rip this down the middle to brace it, and then figure out how to attach the webbing. This is fun. Nice easy project for a change. hot spot I got. Let's see if we can assemble these all on the picnic table. I'm not sure if geometrically that's possible, but we're gonna try it. Probably have to assemble it and then take it all back apart to move it. Now how do I put the other end on? That's going to be the trick. Thinking about replacing this thing. It's I still have all the original blue Ryobi tools. They all still work fine, just like they did when they were new. But now they got such power, more powerful ones, and with a bigger blade. This thing barely cuts through like a 2x4, 1.5 inches. So I try not to use it that much because it eats a lot of batteries, these saws do, but I don't know. I might have to get a nice, nice big one just to have, you know? You never know when you might need to cut through something a little bit thicker. Since I mill this stuff, all my thicknesses aren't exact, so some of these it doesn't really cut all the way through. Not that that's good enough reason to throw out a saw, but you never know, I might need two. Sheesh. This thing's huge. So that's 4 200-watt panels. And since these are going to get moved around a whole bunch, I'm assuming it's going to take me quite a while to figure out where exactly I want them, or like a different season, it gets moved to a different place. I think I'm going to have to make both frames for both sets of panels the same size, because if I want to do 100-watt panels to where the 200-watt or the other way around, if I got a frame that's half the size, which would be big enough for the 4 100-watt panels, then they're not going to fit clearly. So I don't know how I'm going to move this. I kind of don't want to take it back apart now. And I mean, in the future, I'm going to have to move it. If I even just want to move it over 20 feet, I got to be able to do it without disassembling the whole thing the same, you know, every time, which is why I'm making it out of cedar. That's the lightest. So I don't know. I guess I'll just put it together and see if there's some way maybe I can stand it up and ratchet it down to the my little trailer or something. Let's finish it. Why not? This is that other short board I took out of my lumber pile there, and you can see it wasn't a full board, but I'm just going to put it in here for a brace on either side. And the only reason I'm doing these is I'm going to lace the whole thing, so I don't want these getting sucked in by the laces. How heavy it is. Not bad. Before I do anything else, let's make sure I didn't measure wrong. Pretty good. Yeah, so I gotta figure out, I think I'm gonna web this at an angle back and forth maybe, and then figure out, they do have these nice, it's nice and put those holes in there, those grommets. So I'll probably have to put ties or maybe carabiners or something. Like I want something that'll go on there quickly. Maybe even string with a loop you can drop through, bring back, and like hook it over a screw or a nail or something. I'd prefer it didn't take a half an hour every time you wanted to set this thing up. Anybody that can hear the sound of my voice right this minute, not when the video comes out, but right now, and remembers trigonometry, that would be great if you could help me out. So I'm thinking, say I want a piece of webbing every foot this way, then on this side of it, how far apart does it need to be? I'm guessing 1.5 feet. Let's just try 1.5 feet and see what happens, and see if that makes them fall about 1 foot apart. Trigonometry is, yeah, I didn't do very well at that in high school, I don't think. Then again, if I'm honest, I don't think I did very well at anything in high school. I wonder if that's partly the reason I'm living in a tent in the woods. Should have paid more attention. Something else just popped into my head too. I'm thinking I might get out the sewing machine and sew a cover for this. It's maybe like in the solar season, like spring, summer, fall. I like to leave these on unless there's going to be a big storm or something. Then I could just pop them off and put them away. But if I could leave them on here, I was thinking about doing a cover that comes over and down the edge and like snaps on here. But I was thinking running the webbing just around. I'm sure there are better things, but I've got a lot of nails or screws or something, but then I can't have them sticking up or it's going to rub on the cover. Huh. I could think of a few ways to get around that problem, but none of them are really easy. So, I wonder, maybe I'll have to put it way down here and then run the webbing all the way around the edge. Poor man's router. Nothing quite like sand and wet wood. Well, I guess it worked. You guys want to see a really crazy trick I just learned? Ta-da! How amazing is that? Amazing. I don't know, I'm a little afraid life's gonna get too easy now. Might have to dull all my chainsaws or like burn all my clothes or something just to make a challenge, but I don't know, we'll try it for a while, see how it goes. Seriously, that's badass. Just dug around a little bit in my bins, and these are all I really have. Might end up drilling these out and putting dowels in here or something to wrap the webbing around, but for now, this is the only thing I got that has a smooth shank there that's not going to catch on the webbing. So I'm going to screw them in maybe that far, wrap the webbing, and then I'll screw it in a little bit further, and then I'm just going to have to cut the inside of these off. But I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of adjustment to do to figure out exactly where this will work best. Other good thing about this is for moving this, if I do need to move it a long distance, like all the way across the property to a different area, I could just pull these out and it won't be an issue like dragging it on the ground or breaking things off or anything. At least that's the theory. I was thinking maybe I should web this up one direction before I figure out the other direction, just to see how the support is. That's cool. That'll work great. I always like to, when I tension something like this, to use a trucker's hitch. So I'm going to run the tail of this, put it in an eyelet. It's going to go through there, and then you make a loop here. This goes back through the loop, and then it's like a 2-to-1 pulley that'll tension the whole thing, and it's easier to tie off than just to go through an eyelet and try to tie it right there without it slipping. Because if you slip like you know, a half an inch, this whole thing's not going to be tight enough. So I dug through my bins. This is what I came up with. Nothing that matches. So I use this for one of them, and then when I go the other direction, I just screw this in and use a keychain. And that should be good for my anchor. So just put that through there, figure out about where you want the loop. I'll probably do it like here. There's a bunch of different ways you can make a loop in there. And then you run this back through. Now, when you pull this direction, which is actually the direction you want to tighten the whole thing, you can see it's tightening this up at the same time. So I'm going to go through and stretch each one of these, see how much slack I can get out like that, and then you just take it in with that. And it's quite easy to pinch and tie this here instead of trying to tie it up against an eyelet or something. Oh, check this out. My camera battery just died. Oh well. Charging. Oh, look at that. My drill battery's done. Oh, this is really roughing it, isn't it? Especially on a day like this, just set it out, and as I run this stuff down, instead of making big piles of batteries and stuff, just charge it as I go. Wow, what a world, you know? This is an easy chore with 2 people. Just work back and forth. You can do the whole thing in about a minute. But without as many hands, gotta use these clamps. Works pretty well though. And I bet you for the rest of my life, I am never without a roll of this. I still don't know what it's called. It says Cajun pole line on the roll, but I think it was like 5,000 feet for $100 or something like that. Gives you enough rope and webbing to do anything for the rest of your life. So handy. It is very slippery stuff. Yeah, that's good. Love it. Sags a little bit from here to here, but now I'm going to web it the other way. I think I'll probably do, I don't know, about the same spacing. Maybe one underneath there, maybe 2 underneath each one or something. Man, you guys ever had these edamame noodles? Like instead of regular sketty noodles, like edamame, I think there's like a black bean one and a chickpea or something. They are awesome. They're meaty or something. They're freaking great. So much better than regular noodles. Trying out a new podcast, Invisibilia. Just listened to a few episodes and I'm digging it. Could sleep on that sucker. I just found something that really impresses me about these. It's these little things with products. Like, I don't know what the electronics do in this. It just, you know, you plug it in and it works. And I guess for people like me, that's how it's supposed to be set up. You know, you could build one of these systems. I could build one out here for many thousands of dollars with the batteries and the wiring and the charge controllers and all that stuff, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not into that, not into electronics and that kind of stuff. So this setup's sweet, but check this out. This is the kind of stuff I love in the product. These feet, there are 2, 3, 4 of these on each panel, which are pretty cool the way they're put together. It's on like a bungee strap. And they could have riveted all these down here, you know, like this thing could be riveted on, which it appears that it is. But instead of actually using rivets, they put these cool connectors on. So one side looks like a rivet and the other side has a flathead. It's quite difficult to get a hold of this side of it, but you can do it. So if you wanted to use this for something else, I'm noticing every time I flip these over and try to throw them on here, these are coming up and they're catching on all the webbing. So I thought, well, crap, I don't really want to drill all those rivets out and then not be able to use these in the future. But check it out, you can take them off. Imagine that. This is actually pretty snifty too. These are magnets. I know it's just this kind of stuff that I love, but that's attention to detail, so it actually sticks down. As a guy that is constantly making stuff and inventing things and whatever, these little things totally get me, like these Yeti cups. The magnet on there totally blew me away when I first saw this. I'm like, what a freaking great idea. The fact that you can, it's got a moving part that you can actually pull off to clean underneath. So rad. So anyway, Jackery, I appreciate your attention to detail. I appreciate that you make these so they can come off and then you can put them back on if you want to later. That is super cool. I'm glad I got 2 sets of panels to work with because I can already think of 11 different ways to make this thing different. It's going to be, I think I'm just to try it out and see if it works, I'm going to try to get it over there by the tent. This one I think will work really well by the gazebo. There's that big open space with a lot of sun. A lot of sun. So I'm going to try it here. If it works, and I'll drag it down there somehow. So I can't set it on its side because of the screws. I can't do it on the bottom because I can't pick it up by myself. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe roll it? Anyway, before I go sticking my hands in there, I'm going to cut the ends of all those screws off. All right, somebody grab that end. Grab it. Come on. Nothing. I'll get it. I'll get it. Will I? Think I can carry the whole thing like this on my shoulder. Oh, might have needed some padding. Oh. There's nothing to grab onto. Oh, yeah. No problem. You guys just sit there. I got it. You know, I was thinking these were going to go side to side, but the more I look at it, it might be easier to hang these top to bottom. Yeah, south is that way. When we built a little doghouse there, Sarah and I were going to make it out of logs, make a real log doghouse. But changed our minds in the middle of it, so I was going to burn this stuff. I guess I could make some feet out of this to get the edge off the ground, and then I'll have to figure out the height there, but I think that'd be good for now just to try it out. Slippery stuff right there. Grease on grease. It's not bad. Maybe one more. That looks pretty good. I think that'll do for now. Let's throw some panels on there and catch this. Oh yeah, there's no sunlight on it at all. That's okay. I'm gonna do it. Oh yeah. Check that. That's what I do. Quick on, quick off. Maybe you have to put some on the bottom too. I am starving, but I want to put those other panels on there. Wow, that is impressive. Well, I missed the sun. Unfortunately, I had to do a laundry run. I was flat out of anything clean. It's too bad you get a couple nice days like this, and I wanted to try this thing out, and I got, by the time I got back here, the sun's behind the trees. I want to plug this thing in anyway, because I don't know if this will charge on ambient light or if it has to have direct sunlight or what. I just can't wait to plug it in. It was like 20 watts input. That's something. Yeah, there's a little trickle going in. Not much sun there, but on a nice day, I'll just drag this thing out here in the morning. Maybe I'll make a little platform for it underneath. Can set it there and just leave it for the day. And I mean, if it gets a little bit of direct sunlight, it's not gonna, I think you could charge this. To see, it's a 2000 and those are 800. So theoretically you could charge this in like 2.5 hours and only get a little stripe of sun like from here to here as it goes down. And even this time of the year, we might be getting too late for solar. I don't know. Hear the pterodactyls? But plug it in on a sunny day, it'll put some charge into it, some noticeable charge anyway, enough to run my computer for a day or two. It's pretty sweet. Kind of like this. So I think I'm going to leave this thing as is. I think I have one more day of sun tomorrow. I'm just going to let it ride like this. I might adjust this up or down a little bit. Probably this late in the year it's going to have to go up a bit. Clearly it's not a great spot for sun. But I think I'm going to work on making a second frame for the other ones. Once I get started on something like this, I get excited and I want to keep going, but I wonder if I shouldn't use these for a few days and mess with them before I build another frame. I brought some stuff here. I'm gonna make some sunbrella cover. Brought my sewing machines, and I got some other sewing stuff to do, so probably do a cover for this like tonight. You know, when the dew sets or whatever, I'll just throw the cover over, snap it on. So I have to give it a second. I gotta think on this if I want to build another frame right now or use this for a few days first and then see if I need the frame any different. It's so hard to stop once you get started, you know? I'm gonna go burn some stuff and think about it. The campfire. Oh man, I couldn't decide. Now it's been a couple days and I think I'm just gonna wait. I'll probably do another video down the line showing you how all this came together and how it works and everything. I might be building a cabin-y sort of thing right here. I didn't say that. Don't look forward to a video on that because I don't know if it'll happen. It's just so hard to say sometimes, you know? I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm super psyched about this. This is so cool. It's like the only thing I don't like about being out here is constantly struggling to charge stuff to do videos. You know, it's charging this battery from that battery in order to run that battery, and like making sure I got all my drill batteries to take to the laundromat or take them to the car. Oh, I forgot to switch out the drill battery while I was driving, so now I only have one for the week or whatever. This is going to be freaking sweet. And you guys better hope you're watching this. I think this is going to come out in like October 16th or something. Jackery is having a huge sale. I believe it's their 9th anniversary. They've been making this stuff for 9 years and they're having a big sale. Like everything is, I think it's 15% off site-wide. So I think that's the 18th to 20th. So definitely check out their site. I'll put a link in the description of the video But if you just go to Jackery.com or Google Jackery between the 18th and the 20th, you can get some pretty sweet deals there. If I were you, I'd check it out. So far, like this stuff seems incredible. Then again, you probably don't. Do you guys live in the woods in a tent by yourself in the middle of nowhere? If you do, this is what you're looking for. Hey, this table is getting beautiful. Did you notice? This has just about everybody's name, you know, up until a couple months ago that has donated $5 a month or more through Patreon. I carved their first name and initial in here. If anybody in the future donates, you can send me an email with a donation and say, you know, in case your screen name's not the name you want carved in the table, make sure to send it to me. But it's, yeah, what are there, like probably a good 40 on there, anything. We got to put a few more. Thanks so much, guys. You are literally the ones keeping this program going, keeping it on the air, so can't thank you enough. See you next week.